First and foremost, thank you for participating in the Velvet Brick Summit. I
Absolutely.
truly believe that I truly believe what you're going to say today will change someone's perspective or view of life.
I appreciate that, man. I'm honored to be here.
Thank
I
you.
know you
Very
have some, I
appreciate
know you have some incredible people, incredible stories, so I'm honored to be here. I appreciate it.
the worries. So, I mean, obviously, I can't say, well, Scott, tell me your story because we're cousins.
You know my story.
You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you see, well, he's my cousin, but I know you, but I don't know you.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I know what you've been through and how you accomplished what you accomplished. And I just want you to tell your story from, the genesis to now, and don't leave anything out, and just be yourself.
Yeah, certainly. Well, listen, it's my story. It's my journey, but it's God's plan, as you know, right? This
Great.
is my
I agree.
destiny. Started in Middleborough, Massachusetts, and pretty normal childhood. Did well in school, played sports, went to Nana and Bobo's house on Sundays after church, ate
Yes,
Kentucky
we
Fried
did.
Chicken, right? Shout out to Nana and Bobo for giving us the foundation of faith. They were amazing, and they rest in peace. And so everything was, hunky dory. Well, mother, dad, sister, growing up. But it was probably around middle school I started realizing that my dad wasn't really who I thought he was or who he should have been. Uh, I personally knew that he was cheating on my mom, and that was a challenge, difficult because you never want your parents to divorce or separate. But I knew he was doing some things that weren't right. And do I tell my mom? But I didn't, right? And but that was only part of it. He was a gambler. He had anger issues. He lost a few jobs from anger issues. Um, there was domestic abuse, unfortunately, in the relationship. And so and it's hard when because you adore your dad,
Right.
right? He's the man
Your
that
hero.
he's your hero. And I'm realizing this is not a good man. This is not a good dude.
No.
My mom put up with it for probably longer than she should have. And around eighth grade is when she finally decided, we're going to separate. I can't do this anymore. And what happened was when he left, he left. I mean, he just never stayed in contact or anything like that. It was, and I distinctly remember this story. It's funny because as I was thinking about this, is remember the Middleborough had a semi-pro team of Cobras,
Yes.
right? And it was a Friday night game, and he was there with his friends. He was along the fence. I was coming in with some friends, and I was going towards the stands. And he saw me, but act like he didn't see me. And he didn't acknowledge me. And I'll never forget that moment because he completely abandoned, And that's why in my life today, I went through a similar situation where I got divorced, but I knew I would never abandon my kids from the situation that he left with us.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, what happened after is, my mom became, unfortunately, this typical single mom, trying to raise us. We lived paycheck to paycheck, eating cube steaks for dinner,
Yeah.
pancakes for dinner, hot dogs for dinner. One
Thank
night
God for Nana. Thank God for Nana on Sunday.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. One night I remember she actually put ketchup on the spaghetti because she didn't have spaghetti sauce.
Oh.
So 2 jobs, struggling. We moved from apartment to apartment. I was always embarrassed because my friends had 2 parents living in the same house, and we were constantly on the move trying to get a better deal, not get evicted, and all those kind of things. And growing up like that, Stephen, just instilled in me, I will never live like this, and my children will never have to go
Amen.
through this. I was just got so phonetically purposed and focused on making sure that this was not going to happen moving forward.
And a lot of people need to understand that concept, Scott. They get to a point in their life where, like, I'll never do it. Like, you hear a lot of guys go, I'm not going to be like my father.
Right.
But unfortunately, you don't have a plan, because if you didn't have a father, how would you know how to be a father?
Right.
Because there is no book on how to be a father.
No, there's not.
The basic book says, hey, go to work and support your kids and love them.
Right.
There's more to it than that. And you've accomplished that, obviously. I just wanted to reference that, but go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, and so went to school, did well in high school, went to college, went away one semester, but my mom was struggling, so I came back and commuted to college, worked at UPS at night, and
Yes, you did.
so so worked at UPS at night. And what's interesting is after I graduated college, I applied for all sports jobs: Nike, Reebok, Callaway, Converse. I wanted to be in the sports. Man. I love sports. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Got rejected by all those. And college had a job fair, and they had an opening at New England Telephone, the phone company. I applied and got in. And it's funny, I wasn't really thrilled. I was sort of like the phone company. I wanted to be in a sexy kind of business, And I remember Bobo, again, God bless him,
Golf.
was like, hey, Scotty, it's a great job. It's a great company, great benefits. And you know what? It's one of the best decisions I've ever. I wouldn't live this life if it wasn't for New England Telephone, NYNEX, Bell Atlantic, and Verizon. It was one of the best decisions I ever made, start with that company. And I took advantage of the benefits right away. Went to got tuition reimbursement and got my master's degree. Again, there was no choice of what my major was going to be, because I was going to be business, because I thought I needed money. So I was kind of on business. I majored in business and mastered in business administration. And then did well. I mean, I started in 1991 and went from 15 years, went from a management hire to a director. And that's a senior level in the business, which means you're eligible and you qualify for long-term compensation, meaning stock options and stock units. And so think about that. I was 15 years in, I was 35, 36 years old, and I'm getting stock options and stock units. And I retired in 30 years. So for 15 years, I had long-term compensation.
That's awesome.
Changed my life. And if you don't mind, can I give you a couple of career tips for somebody who's in the corporate world?
Sure.
Yeah. So, because funny, I did again in 15 years. I went from 1 level to 2 levels to 3 levels, into the business, and I think there's a few things that help people be successful in the corporate world. One was you got to be honest and ethical. Right?
Absolutely.
That's number one. You got to do it the right way. I remember I had one assignment where I was asked to lead a group that was to cut costs of a certain part of the business. And I had 9 people reported to me, and they all had projects that were geared toward reducing costs in this portion of the business. And the prior person had told them that we were going to save this many millions of dollars from these projects. I got in the job and realized relatively quickly it wasn't going to be that many millions of dollars.
Of course.
Right. But I think they already booked it, they had banked on it, and I had to go to them and tell them, it's not going to happen, right? And so that was a very sleepless night.
Of course.
That was the hell of a night where I was like, I can't believe I'm going to do this. But listen, I said to myself, they can fire me for not making the objective. They're not going to fire me for doing crazy math.
No, and you were being ethical. And, the beautiful thing is I listened to your stories. A lot of the stuff I never knew, which is really tugging at my heart. But the other beautiful thing is that you had a plan. And when you stated that you are truly blessed, God had a plan.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yep. No doubt. Yep. It was definitely God's plan. No question. So I think the honest and ethical one, network, right? One of the things that when you work in a large company, there's always so many people that you can help you make your life easier and simpler.
Of course.
Yeah. One of the groups that I targeted was the IT group. I had a great relationship with the IT people. Every time I went to an assignment, I had them come to my centers and look at things, automate, simplify. A lot of my success, honestly, was my partnership with the IT group. So network and find out who can help you be more successful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The other one, honestly, is funny is a lot of people struggle having honest, real conversations.
They don't know how to. We can't even have them now.
Yeah, right. So
I mean, we're having it now because of technology, but would I prefer to have the Velvet Brick Summit on a stage with 30,000 people screaming at Scott and screaming at Michael and screaming at Mark?
Right.
It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. It just doesn't happen anymore.
Right.
But when me and Lee were speaking with Michael last week, he said the same thing. There's nothing better than need business.
Nothing better. Right. And that honest face-to-face conversation, But many people, Stephen, ignore people who aren't in the right position, aren't doing a good job. You know what I mean? And I didn't have an issue. Listen, I was paid to take care of the business. And if somebody wasn't a match, sometimes people are very smart and intelligent. They just
Yeah.
can't lead people. They can't lead people.
No,
That's
not
not,
but not everybody's built for leadership. And you know, you could say, "Oh, I went to Harvard and I got that." I've seen people that graduated from Harvard working at Home Depot.
right. Exactly. Yeah. And you've seen people who came from nothing and are CEOs and whatever the case may be.
Exactly,
Right.
the
Yeah.
big elephants.
Right, exactly. Yeah. The last one I would say is take pride in the job you have. A lot of people are always trying to look to get ahead and do more, right?
Right.
I just say take pride in the job you have and make sure you do a good job. One of the things that my 30-year career, I never interviewed for another job. They came to me and said, "We'd like you to take this job," or they said, "This is your new job."
Yeah, you didn't have a choice.
Once I got to a certain level, it's like, "This is your new assignment."
Yeah, here you go.
You know what I mean? Right, right.
Enjoy, Scott.
Right. But if you take pride in what you do, it'll come to you. You know, don't be looking for the next thing. Just do what
No,
you
and I think we learned that from our grandparents. You know, Bubba and Nana, they worked in the jewelry business. Then when they were done, they started the jewelry business in their garage, but they taught us work.
Right. Yeah.
And I know a lot of people say, "Well, I teach my kids to work." It's a different thing that we see nowadays. I mean, it's just I don't know, it's mind-boggling. I don't want to get off into a tangent, but you know, even though with the passing of Uncle Charlie, me and Chris just talked about this the other day. He had us at his plumbing company in Middleborough.
Yeah.
Me and Chris were there on a Saturday, and he said, "I want you guys to help out on Saturday. I want you to work with us, work with me." We're like, "Oh, work with Uncle Charlie. It's going to be awesome."
Right.
He gave me a broom. He gave Chris a broom. He said, "Now go up on the third floor and get the pigeons out of the third floor." We were like, "What?" Get the pigeons out of the. But you don't see that nowadays. And I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Just you do your job, do it right, do it well. I see it every day.
Right.
I'd see it every day in my journey with what our franchises. Nobody wants to work anymore.
Yeah, no, it's very different. But think of Uncle Charlie. Do you remember what he did to you and I? You might not remember that. We did the same thing. They offered us a job. We went to one of the places that he owned. I think it was an apartment complex or a single family unit. And they gave us shovels and said,
"Oh yeah,
dig a pool."
And you and I were just sitting there going, "What? Dig a pool,
right?
With shovels."
Right. And I don't want to.
Remember that?
It's funny. I don't remember how long we lasted. It wasn't long.
I think about an hour. Yeah, he was a different kind of guy. But anyhow, we're getting off track. We can do this all day long.
Right. So anyway, listen. So unfortunately, what happened was, like I told you, I ended up getting divorced from my wife. I was living in Virginia, and then I had a choice to make because I think at last count, it was 8 calls to be a vice president, get promoted in the business, And but they were in Los Angeles, they were in Atlanta, they were back in New England, could have went back home at one point, and most of them were in New Jersey. But this is when, my kids were 9, 11, 10, and 13, and because what happened with my dad, there was and people thought I was crazy. They're like, "How are you turning down these jobs? There's so much more money, right?"
It's not always about money.
It's not. And listen, it's funny because one time I remember I was talking to Jacob about it. My son, this is when he was like 11, 12 years old. And he said, "Daddy, how much money do we need?" We were living a good life, right? You know what I mean? But I'll tell you, ego gets you sometimes.
Of course it does.
I considered those assignments. I never did them because the Lord said, "You don't leave these children. Your dad did that to you. You're not going to do that to them." And so I spent the rest of my career down here in Virginia. And in March of 2019, they offered a retirement package. I was 53 years old. I was only going to stay a few more years anyway. And I had saved up a bunch of money from all long-term compensation. This house, this condo I live in is paid for. Our cars are paid for. Kids' tuition's paid for. I mean, just amazing. blessed. And so now I'm focused on just giving back. I mean, I was able to, I worked for 30 years. I'll tell you, a lot of it I enjoyed. I traveled, St. Louis, San Diego, Florida, could see the world, the country a little bit. Had big, huge jobs, thousands of people, 100 managers, $1 million budget. To see the success happen in those functions, had a lot of pride. But at the end, you get over it. The conference calls, the meeting, the travel, you know what I mean? So, but it was a great career, and I wouldn't be here without it. And it's funny, that I ride my bike a lot. Right.
Yes,
so I rode my bike, and it happens every time I ride my bike. I ride my bike in Virginia Beach, and there's farms and strawberry fields and horses. and I ride my bike and I think, God, thank you, Lord. Like,
Yeah.
just ride my bike at my age and not have to worry about money and not have to
Yeah.
work. I mean, it's
And
just
ladies and
such a
gentlemen, I'm
blessing.
going to say he's not riding the bike, like some old guy riding down the street. The guy's got like a $5,000 bike, and on Tuesday, this guy rides like 50 miles. That's riding a bike. I remember I got an email. I think it was a text or conversation. Oh, me and Chris are going away for the weekend. We're doing a 300-mile trek. I said, on a bike? I don't even drive a car 300 miles. So this
Yeah, I
guy's
know.
not just riding a bike.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm doing
Just
about
saying.
150, 200 miles a week right now. So yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah. But when I do, I realize I just say, wow, Lord, what a blessing to be where I'm at in my life. I'm just very, very grateful. Very, very
Yeah.
grateful.
And
And
you
I
give
want to
back
get,
too.
I want to give back. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So why don't you
So,
elaborate a little bit of what you're giving back? What do you do to give back? Let's
yeah.
go to some
So,
things that you do.
okay. So I'll start with this. So similar to you, I get up every morning, but you get up much earlier than me.
I know you
Uh,
told me to stop texting you early in the morning.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Right. My wife and I, we sit right by that window right there. We have a cup of coffee. She has coffee, I have a cup of tea, and we pray and we meditate. Every day we start our day like that. And every day, this is my prayer. This is what I start with. I start with Psalm 118:24. It's the day you've made, Lord. I'm going to rejoice and be glad in it. I want to share my blessings. I want to help others. I want to give back. I want to be love and light and build and encourage everybody I come across this day. I want to strive to become like Jesus, live like Jesus, and love like Jesus, And I want to be an apostle and represent the kingdom. And I also say to him, I want my investments to grow so I live more abundantly than I did when I retired, and we travel even more. And that's something that Joel taught. That's okay to live a life of abundance, as long as you give back. But it's okay to sometimes you feel bad, like, oh, I'm not supposed. No, you can
No, you're
live.
supposed to. And then, if we want to go down this road, I'll go down this road. 2 Corinthians 8:9. We should know that Jesus Christ was a very rich man, but he went and became poor so that we could become rich.
Amen.
Okay.
Amen.
So,
Right.
and again, people, this is not a religious thing. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it God, spirit, universe, whatever you want to call it. But you need something to keep you focused, keep you grounded, because there's a lot of crap out there. And to listen to my cousin speak the way he speaks right now, and know his story, because he went through some anger with his dad. He
Amen.
was angry. And I believe your father passed away and you didn't even go to the funeral.
I did not, and I regret that. I definitely have forgiven him at this point because you have to forgive.
You have to.
Yeah, but you know what? It's crazy because I wanted to be the exact opposite of him. You know what I mean? And listen, he taught me lessons that I wouldn't be where I was if it wasn't for him. But unfortunately,
Exactly.
as a family, we had to go through that. But if he didn't do what he did, I wouldn't be where I am.
Right. It's a process that you had to go through.
Right. It was a process and a purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in terms of giving back, so it's, when I first left the business, I started tutoring kids in schools, and but then the pandemic hit, so obviously that went awry, and that's when I started seeing all the people in line for food, and that's when I started joining the food bank, and
Awesome.
I volunteer probably a couple days a week there, and I like it a lot because it's active work. I'm packing boxes, delivering boxes, that kind of stuff. So I do that a couple days a week, and then it's funny. There's a statement I've heard called "Do good deeds, tell no one," right? And so there's just little things I do. Any typical help a senior citizen cross the street. You know what I mean? Somebody's got a flat tire, stop and help them. Grocery store
Scott, it's all about giving back, and any person out there who's a successful business person or knows that any professional book that you read on personal development, it's all about giving back.
Absolutely.
You can't get if you don't give.
Amen.
And if
Exactly.
anybody studies any wealthy people in this country, whether it be Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, they all have some sort of foundation where they're giving back. And
Yes.
for you, with the feeding of the people, you and I've had this conversation. How can we have people that are starving when we have a friggin' food network? I'm gonna get upset now, so I'm gonna stop talking. You better talk. I'll get fired up.
Well, it's funny because it's not funny. It's actually not funny. But what's happening in the food bank is because of all the price increases in inflation recession, the food bank has less food
That makes
to
no
give
sense.
out. Right? I mean, it's crazy because supermarkets don't have excess as much anymore because demand, supply, and all other kind of stuff. But what always happens is the person in the bottom is the one who gets impacted the most with
Of
these things,
course.
unfortunately, you know what I mean? So,
And it's almost like you want to say to yourself, you know what, if you see that person, you just want to say, you know, I'm going to dedicate this week to just going out and buying $300 worth of groceries and bring it to that family outside of the food. But that would be my thing. You understand what I'm saying?
right,
Uh,
yeah,
like, and I see it every day at our franchise. There's some kids who just don't have a clue, you know, and you talk to them, they're like, well, I never learned that. I'm like, huh?
right, yeah,
It's really,
uh,
and so for us, this Velvet Brick Summit, people are like, oh, it's just one of those things on Facebook. No, it's not.
no,
It's a movement,
right,
and I truly believe it, and I feel it. I've known it for a long time. I just didn't do it,
right.
and now I'm doing it. And for you and I and the rest of these gentlemen on this panel, after March 19th, your life's not going to be the same. You're going to be
Yeah,
involved in podcasts, and movements, and speaking engagements. Trust me when I tell you,
yeah, I love it. I
it's
love it. I think,
facts.
yeah,
It's real.
it's,
I'm telling you.
yeah.
I'm just
Well, listen, you got to manifest it, right? You got to manifest it if you
You got to
believe it.
speak it.
Oh, yeah.
It's very simplistic. It's in the
Right.
Bible. When you speak things, you give
It's,
life to them. And again,
right,
this isn't like a church ceremony, folks, but it is what it is. It's a
right,
premise.
right, right,
Whether you're Catholic, Jewish product, whatever the hell you want to be, it is
right,
what it
right.
is. But at the end of the day, Scott, you know my struggles. Everybody has a struggle, but you have to go through a struggle in order to get to where you need to get to. Just like a caterpillar has to go through a cocoon to
Right.
become a butterfly. It's facts.
Your test is your testimony, your message, your message.
Thank you, sir. Ooh-wee. Then, you know, Lee's going to text me in a few minutes. This isn't about Velvet Brick, you know, Steve. Whatever,
Listen,
Lee.
I think what you're doing is amazing, and this is what you're doing to give back. And listen, I want to give you a lot of credit. You should be on your own speaker. Listen, what you've gone through, people. I love stories of people who have overcome. Your story is one that you had a very low point, but look where you are now. And like you said many times, it doesn't matter your age or your sister. Everybody's going to go through trials and tribulations. That's just nobody is not going to have that situation at some
No,
point.
and the funny thing is, again, people pick up a personal development book, any book, and every single person in that book has gone through something. Period.
Amen.
They just
Yep.
didn't get there and wake up one day. My boss, Mr. Bruce Thomas, owns 54 Dunkin' Donuts franchises. You know what he started as? A donut maker. Remember the
Right.
commercial with the guy with the mustache trying to make the donuts? So when I see
Yep.
the kids at the franchise and they're pissing and moaning, this job sucks. You don't even have to make donuts anymore. They already cup made. Shut up.
Right. Right. Yeah. Technology. Right. It's changed it. Yeah.
So I mean, I get what you're saying, and I appreciate you giving me those kudos, Scott. But at the end of the day, there are people out there with more major struggles than I've ever been through. And at the end of the day, if you look at other people's stories, everybody has a story.
Absolutely.
Even one of our panelists, his story was profound. 31 years of age, $900 a day Percocet habit, a
Unbelievable.
day,
That's
7 days a week,
That's
and look where he is now.
Is that $5,000 a week or something? I mean,
Yeah,
that's just
and he's still
yeah.
maintained.
Wow.
And just to see him now, where he's at now at 40, and what he does with his recovery centers, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. Again, this is this kind of stories you have to share because a lot of people, to your point, are going through a struggle and they have to know you can come out of it. This person's come out of it. This person.
Because they don't, because unfortunately, Scott, we're stuck on this 25 to 65-year-old paradigm. And we're all on I hate to say it, the rat race, the conveyor belt. They go, okay, this is what you need to do. You need to go to school, go to college, get a job, get married, and retire. And nothing in between. And so you become mundane, Monday through Friday. Saturday and Sunday's the weekend. The weekend is a glimpse of the life you truly want, but you can't because you're too afraid, because it's too late. You already bought a house and a car and a boat, and you got kids, and everything goes awry. And then you wake up one day and you look across the table and you're 50 and your kids are grown. You look at your wife and go, who the hell are you? Let's get divorced because I don't like you.
Right. Yeah. And then you think, okay, at 65, so I'm done. I'm going to
I'm dead. Yeah, I'm done. So I can die now.
Yeah, listen, if you don't, one of the things I'm going to try to do, I strive to do is challenge my mind and challenge my body every day. Because
you have no idea,
if you don't
kid.
challenge your mind,
you and I are the same age. When I go to the gym sometimes in the morning at 4 a.m. and I get in, I go, I could be home sleeping.
Right.
It's not going to happen. I told my brother the other day, we went to church together Sunday. I said, Chris, what's up at 4 a.m.? I can't sleep.
Yeah.
But I go to bed at 8:30 like I'm 90. Who goes to bed on a Saturday night at 8:30?
You do,
guy, right?
Because you're dedicated, you're disciplined. You know,
I got to do what I got. Listen, this is it right here. And
Right.
to all the Patriots fans, sorry that you lost last night. But and again, this isn't about me, it's about you. But at the end of the day, this game of life is a game.
It
You got to
is.
participate in the game.
Right.
And I don't care what you did in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. The game is won in the fourth quarter. Period.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Every game.
Every game. Absolutely.
Baseball, ninth inning.
Yep. Yeah.
Basketball, fourth quarter, buzzer beater. You lost.
Right. Well, the Patriots Super Bowl against Atlanta, 28-3, right? I mean,
23-8, they were down and everybody left.
Right.
And they got it together and said, guess what? We won in the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter living, people.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah. It's amazing. You know, it's amazing.
And listen, I'm gonna throw kudos out to you, Scott, because you knew my struggle. I'm really upset. And you were there. And every time that I talked to you, you knew I was low. And you said, Steven, you're going to do something amazing. You're so spectacular. Right. And you told your wife this, and your wife thinks I'm super Steve. So I can't wait to meet this woman because I'm like, oh, look, I'm not that super.
You are super.
So, yeah, I want to give it back to you, my friend, because you were there for me in my darkest moments.
Well, one of the quotes that I really strive to do is Maya Angelou. The quote is, I've learned that people don't remember what you say. People don't remember what you did, but they remember how you made them feel, right? Correct. And so, listen, I always want to spread positivity, and there was no doubt in my mind. I believe in you. I still believe. I believe in you. I believe in you even at your lowest point. Even when you didn't believe in yourself, I believed in you. I know what's in you, right? And look where you are. I knew this day was coming. You know, I knew this day was coming, and it's only going to get bigger, Steven. It's only going to get bigger. Believe you me. You're just starting.
Whew, just starting. I can't believe you got me to shut up.
And you're just starting at this age. Again, it's inspirational.
It doesn't bother me. You know, the funny thing, everybody says that, and you know, when I watch sports, I hear what they say. Well, 45-year-old Tom Brady. What does that mean? He's going to die?
Right.
I don't get the age thing. The age thing really bugs me.
Yeah, it does. It's a number.
It's a corny cliche, but it's just a number. I don't feel my age. I really don't. I don't even know what you're supposed to feel. I don't know if there's a manual out there that says this is what you're supposed to feel like. But I guess if you have a conversation with normal people, they're like, well, you know, it's COVID season, so you might want to stay in the house.
Yeah.
Like, really?
Yeah.
Because I'm still wearing shorts every day.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. So when I go to the work and the kids are like, sir, you're wearing shorts. I'm like, yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
It's cold out. You're gonna catch a cold. First of all, you don't catch a cold from being cold. You catch a cold from germs. What's your point there?
Right.
But anyway, I'm going off.
Listen, a lot of it is mindset, Steven. I told you the story about I have a woman in this building who on her 90th birthday went on an African safari.
That's awesome. Yeah, you
flew
told me
17 hours. And so, but you think about a 90-year-old, there are 60s and 70-year-olds who are sitting on a couch.
Yeah.
Doing nothing.
No, right? Because you want to know what? They think they earned it.
Yeah, it's your mindset. You got to challenge your mind, challenge your body.
Every day.
Every day.
Without fail. And listen, Scott, sometimes I wake up at 1:30 in the morning and I go, okay, I'm going back to sleep. And God's like, you got enough sleep. Because people say, well, you're supposed to sleep 8 hours. Who the hell told you that? So when I wake up, I'm ready to rock and roll.
Right.
And I'm either reading or studying or meditating. The meditating thing is working. Not so much.
Yeah.
I got like a monkey brain. I'm like, oh, look, something shiny. So I try to do the small ones, you know, the 5-minute ones, and then I'm going to graduate to 7 and 8 because there's some on there that like 60-minute meditations. I'm like, I'll probably fall asleep.
Right. Yeah. There are people who do like, you know, days of that, which I give them a lot of credit for. It's not
like a monk.
Yeah. I haven't got to yet. So, but again, I appreciate the opportunity to share this stuff. What happened?
It's amazing. It really is. And I'm your cousin. And you know, we say, you know, oh, that's my cousin. You think, you know, it's like when you like a sibling. I know my brother. You don't know your brother. Because my brother's been with his wife for 40 years. She knows him better than I do. We only know our siblings when we were growing up. There's nothing to know. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's a common, oh, he's my brother. I know how he is. No, you don't.
Right.
He might
not after they grow up, exactly.
No, he might be a raving lunatic who likes to dress up as Batman on weekends.
Right. Just Google it, as Sebastian Maniscalco says, and all of a sudden you'll be at a conference with everybody who likes to dress up as a baby.
Yep, pretty much a baby. Well, I got a friend named Lee who likes to dress up like he's a golfer. It's terrible.
So he just thinks he's a golfer. He dresses like a golfer.
Yeah, he dresses like a golfer. You wait and see next time, buddy.
Keep taking him. Keep taking him, Steven.
He's awesome. He's awesome. And you know, I know he doesn't like me to do this, but I have to shout out to him too, because this guy is doing this for us on the taking his own time to do it. And
Right.
I met him through somebody else. So you know, I always say, you know, we're acquaintances being friendly, but he's a great guy. And I'll probably get crap from him tomorrow at some point. I told you not to say some crap. But I'm saying it, Lee, because you wanna know why? You're small and I could beat you up.
So there you go. Just like that.
Yeah, just like that. He'll be
Right.
like, why don't you try it out? You know, he's probably do some marine move on me or something. Range a chokehold or some crap.
Yeah, WWE.
But anyhow, listen. You've been. Oh, he's texting me. Oh no, there's somebody else. I really want to thank you for being on, Scott.
No problem.
I truly believe that you're not prepared for what you got involved in. I told you yesterday that someone didn't show up, and that's the people we don't want.
Yeah.
In my head, I already know that there's going to be a podcast where I'll bring people on so that we can really kind of. And again, there are already gurus out there. This is Tony Robbins is out there and all that stuff, and nothing against them.
Right.
Hey, Tony, I'll work with you, my man. Because at the end of the day, we need to start hitting people in the head with the velvet brick.
Listen, you can't get this message from enough people. There's Les Brown.
No, and you know the beautiful thing, Scott. I always used to say to myself, "Oh man, I'd have to punch them in the face because they won't change." Well, now you can hit them in the head with the velvet brick, ladies and gentlemen. Just saying,
right?
They're coming. They're in process of being made.
Right. It's a soft break, right? So
that's it. And it was in the Bible. That's how Paul preached. The velvet brick.
Paul's my favorite. Yeah. Actually, I like James. James
is all right too. James is all right. And that's me and Chris had this conversation Sunday on the way to church. I was telling him about, you know, people look at the disciples and Jesus, he picked broken people to be disciples.
Mm-hmm. Right.
People that did things. Noah was a drunk. People didn't know that.
Right.
He said, hey, Noah, I need you to build a boat. He's like, dude, I'm hungover. I'm not doing anything. I'm all set.
Right.
Then Noah had to wait 120 years for the rain. I say it a little differently. That's what I do. I have my own style. My name is Steven. Your name is Scott. His name is Lee. We all say things differently, but the point is the point. It is what it is.
Yep. Listen, if there's opportunities in the future for podcasts and stuff, absolutely, I'm in for that. If we can change people's lives, I'm all in.
I wouldn't listen. I was so excited when I called you. You said yes. I was so excited when I called these other gentlemen because they're like, you know what, Steven, it's a movement, and we just need to change. Now, granted, we might have, and I see that every day on Facebook because I like to put positive stuff out there. I could say something positive, or Jason could put up. I think Jason posted his house that he has. It's called Recovery Equals Freedom, and he posted. He got 5 likes, and then we did a snapshot of this group that we're involved in, Over 40 Fitness, and there was a woman on there who lost some weight. She posed in a bikini. She got 1,000 likes. That's where we're at right now.
Yeah. So the challenge is on.
I guess I should just wear. When I post next, I'll just wear my velvet brick T-shirt and nothing else.
Yeah, there you go.
That works out. How many likes I get?
Right. Yeah. Do like Genuine.
Pretty much.
Hey, whatever works, man. Whatever works.
Whatever we got to do. Hey, listen again. Thank you so much for taking the time.
You're welcome.
I'm looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks, man.
Yeah. It's gonna be awesome.
Super excited to meet your wife.
Yeah, me too.
Very disappointed. She's gonna be very disappointed. She'll be like, Scotty, this is the guy? You freaking serious?
Listen. She's very excited to meet the family. Very, very excited. We can't wait to come up and see everybody. So it'll be good to see you, guys.